I think it's totally cool to, especially if you've been a software engineer a while. What I would do, and I actually talked to somebody about this recently. They were a little bit less technical, but they had some other skills that were really good. I think having a variety of skills and backgrounds is awesome for all companies and teams. So it's really cool to have that. Well, I was in neuroscience, didn't learn to code, and then I'm coding, and then I'm doing some cool things, and bring that together with the person who's coded since they were 12. It's just all these sorts of things. Okay, so if I'm technical and I want to get into it, I would focus on. I would um, immediately get deep into Python. There's libraries out there for Python for things like natural language processing and that are already built, and I would just start playing around with those immediately and get skilled at that. Pick some use cases that just for fun and build things. The second thing you can do is go to Metis, METIS, and there are actually several of these little schools that have like 12-week programs where you can go, especially if you're already a programmer, you can go and they'll do a deep dive on data science, and they'll do that. So I think that's good. Um, yeah, that's probably the two main things I would do is start playing around with Python and libraries that are available. There's plenty open source these days to go get. When I was young and in programming, when I was 12, I had to go get Byte magazine, and then I had to go type out line character by character code, and then I could run it and try to figure out what I typed wrong. But now you've got open source everywhere. You can go grab it off GitHub, start playing around with different models, and there's data sets out there you can grab, and you can kind of start playing around. So I would do those two things. I would go deep on
Mhm.
Python, and I would seek out these computer. There's several computer science courses. You can take individual courses to kind of get up to speed, and then you can also take these more in-depth courses. They're like 12 weeks, and they're both available in person and online. So no matter where you are, you can kind of look at the online ones and do those as well if you're not here in San Francisco. Um, what else would the other thing to do is triangulate. When you're looking for jobs in these categories, you always want to try to triangulate to convince people to hire you. And what I mean by that is go back and look at what you've done and what you've been interested in and tie it into your pitch to be hired, right? So let's say you work in the marketing department and you worked in marketing always, and now you're getting into coding, and you went back and you took a class and you're gotten pretty good at coding, but now you've got to convince other people that you're good at coding. What you want to do is approach somebody building something marketing like and say, look, you can hire this other guy who codes better than me, and you can try to teach them marketing, or you can hire me. I don't probably code as good as that person, but I know marketing really well, and I'm actually going to be a better fit for your team. Or maybe you'll hire both of us, But I have a place on your team because I've got a mix of skill sets. So I would also think about what else you can bring to the table beyond just hardcore coding. Hardcore coding is always awesome, and updating your skill sets is always awesome. But I would also think about justifying why beyond coding are you going to think through things really carefully for this team. And especially in startups, if you can show that you care about the customer, I think that's useful these days. So if you're like, hey, I like to go on interviews, or I like to understand what's coming out of product management, and I want to help if I can, any way I can, kind of interpret what the customer is wanting, and I can come up with really nuanced ways of building that quickly, or in some way better, then that would be, those kind of pitches are good as well.